Today's lesson is role of water to Arrhenius acids. In this lesson, we are going to learn what are Arrhenius acids, role of water to Arrhenius acids, and finally, we will learn whether methane is an acid or not. So, let's begin. The very first point is Arrhenius acids. What are Arrhenius acids? Let's see. Hydrogen chloride, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen cyanide, acetic acid, etc. These are Arrhenius acids. All the compounds have hydrogen. So, the definition of Arrhenius acid is the hydrogen containing compounds that give up protons in water are called acids. These compounds release proton in this way. For example, first nitric acid. When dissolved in water, then nitric acid yields proton and nitrate ion. This proton is surrounded by water. Aqu means aqua means water. This is also surrounded by water. So this compound produces protons in water. Similarly, these compounds can produce protons in water. So these are Arrhenius acids. The compounds that can produce protons in water are called Arrhenius acids. Now we will learn what is the function of water towards Arrhenius acids. Now let's see. Now the point is role of water towards Arrhenius acids. First of all, let's see the polarity in water. This is structure formula of water. Here oxygen's electronegativity is 3.5, hydrogen 2.1. So electronegativity difference between hydrogen and oxygen is quite high. That is why covalently bonded electrons shift towards oxygen, and as a result oxygen gets partially negatively charged and hydrogen gets partially positively charged. So here we see two ends. One is negative end, another one is positive end. This is negative end, this is positive end. So water molecule has two ends, positive end and negative ends. It's a kind of polar molecule. Now let's see the role of water towards Arrhenius acids. First of all, let's see role of water to hydrogen chloride, which is gaseous at normal condition. Let's see, in absence of water, the existence of hydrogen chloride. Electronegativity of chlorine is 3.0, hydrogen 2.1. Because of this electronegativity difference, chlorine gets partially negatively charged, hydrogen gets partially positively charged. Another hydrogen chloride molecule partially negatively charged and partially positively charged. Among the hydrogen chloride molecules, a kind of attraction force is originated. This is called hydrogen bond. Definition of hydrogen bond is the attraction force between hydrogen of one molecule and electronegative atom of another molecule is called hydrogen bond. So in absence of water, among the hydrogen chloride molecule, a kind of attraction force, so that is hydrogen bond is present. If it was a very strong bond, the hydrogen chloride would be liquid like water. But this bond is very weak bond, because here the electronegativity difference is not quite high like electronegativity difference between hydrogen and oxygen in water. In water, electronegativity of oxygen is 3.5 and hydrogen is 2.1. Here electronegativity difference is quite high. That is why the attraction force in water is very strong. As a result, water remains as liquid. But in this case, the polarity is not as high as water. That is why this attraction force is weak, and as a result hydrogen chloride remains as gas. This is hydrogen chloride. But when this hydrogen chloride is dissolved in water, then what happens? Let's see. That is, this is hydrogen chloride, or chlorine gets partially negatively charged, hydrogen gets partially positively charged. This chlorine with negative charge is attacked by water molecule with its positive end, that is positive, that is positive. A kind of attraction force is originated between HCl and water. As a result, hydrogen chlorine bond undergoes a heterolytic fission, and after that proton is freed from this HCl molecule. This proton is attacked by the negative end of water in this way, negative end of water. That is why it is written H plus with aqua. That means hydrogen ion is surrounded by water, aqua. At the same time, chloride ion is formed, that is also surrounded by water. So in this way, hydrogen chloride produces protons in water. So hydrogen chloride is a kind of Arrhenius acid. One thing should be mentioned here, that when it is not dissolved in water, then its name is hydrogen chloride. But if it is dissolved in water, then the solution obtained is symbolized by HCl AQ, and then its name is hydrochloric acid. So this is hydrogen chloride, it means gaseous, and this is hydrochloric acid, it means hydrogen chloride gas is dissolved in water. Let's see another Arrhenius acid. Now the compound is nitric acid, which is liquid at normal condition. Let's see the existence of nitric acid without water. This is the nitric acid, HNO3, another nitric acid, and among the nitric acid molecules, a kind of attraction force, which is hydrogen bond, is created. So no proton is created in absence of water. But when this nitric acid is added to water, then let's see how it produces protons. This is nitric acid molecular formula, and this is the structure formula. This is coordinate covalent bond. Electronegativity of nitrogen oxygen is quite high, so it attracts this electron cloud towards itself. It attracts this electron cloud towards itself, and as a result, this bond is polarized a lot, and it becomes negatively charged, it becomes positively charged. This negatively charged oxygen atoms are attacked by water molecule in this way. At one stage, this hydrogen-oxygen bond undergoes heterolytic fission and proton is removed, which is surrounded by water with its negative end. And at the same time, the nitrate ion is formed from here, nitrate ion, which is surrounded by water molecule. So this is the way by which nitric acid produces protons in water. So nitric acid is a kind of Arrhenius acid in water, but nitric acid cannot act as acid in absence of water, because in absence of water nitric acid cannot produce protons. Let's see another Arrhenius acid. Now the compound is sulfuric acid, H2SO4, which is liquid at normal condition. In absence of water, let's see the existence of sulfuric acid. This is the structure formula of sulfuric acid. Another sulfuric acid molecule. A kind of attraction force, that is hydrogen bond, is created between two sulfuric acid molecules and no proton is created. No proton is created from sulfuric acid in absence of water. Because of the presence of two hydrogen bonds between two molecules, sulfuric acid remains as thick and sticky. This is known as viscosity. Now let's see how sulfuric acid produces protons in water. This is structure formula of sulfuric acid. Electronegativity of sulfur is 2.5, oxygen 3.5. This is quite high electronegativity difference. So it becomes negatively charged, and here electronegativity difference is very high because this is 2.1, this is 3.5. It becomes negatively charged and it becomes positively charged. So the negatively charged oxygen atoms are attacked by water molecule with its positive end. At one stage, both the hydrogen-oxygen bonds undergo heterolytic fission, and from this compound, two protons at a time are produced from sulfuric acid. These protons again surrounded by water molecule with its negative end. At the same time, sulfate, this is proton, and sulfate ion is produced 2-. Here these covalently bonded electrons go to oxygen, these covalently bonded electrons go to oxygen. That is why sulfate 2-, which is surrounded by water molecule. So in this way, sulfuric acid produces protons in water. So sulfuric acid is a kind of Arrhenius acid in presence of water, but not Arrhenius acid in absence of water. Let's see another compound. Now the compound is hydrogen sulfide, which is gas at normal condition. First of all, let's see the existence of hydrogen sulfide in absence of water. This is hydrogen sulfide. Here the electronegativity of sulfur is 2.5 and hydrogen is 2.1. So this bond is polarized and sulfur gets negatively charged and hydrogen gets positively charged. Another hydrogen sulfide, it gets positively charged, it gets negatively charged. And a kind of attraction force, that means hydrogen bond, is originated among the hydrogen sulfide molecules. But here the electronegativity difference is quite low. That is why the charge density over sulfur is not very high, and at the same time charge density over hydrogen is not very high. That is why this force is extremely weak force, and for this reason hydrogen sulfide remains as gas but not liquid. But in absence of water, hydrogen sulfide cannot produce proton. This is our today's point. Hydrogen sulfide cannot produce protons without water. Now let's see the function of water to hydrogen sulfide. This is hydrogen sulfide molecule. Here sulfur gets partially negatively charged, hydrogen gets partially positively charged. This negativity is extremely low because electronegativity difference is quite low. Nevertheless, this is attacked by water molecule with its negative end, and as a result one bond undergoes heterolytic fission and proton is formed. Both the bonds do not undergo heterolytic fission because of its low electronegativity difference, and it is surrounded by water molecule. At the same time, from this hydrogen sulfide another ion is formed. This is the ion, that is hydrosulfide ion, which is surrounded by water. The name of this anion is hydrosulfide ion, and this is the way by which hydrogen sulfide produces protons in water. So hydrogen sulfide is a kind of Arrhenius acid. One thing should be mentioned here, that is, this is gas. When it is dissolved in water, then the solution is symbolized by this, and its name is hydrosulfuric acid, and this is hydrogen sulfide, and its another name is sulfane. So this is all about hydrogen sulfide, which in presence of water can produce protons. So hydrogen sulfide is a kind of Arrhenius acid. Another point should be mentioned here, that is, hydrogen sulfide is a kind of weak acid because of its low electronegativity difference, and that is why here equilibrium sign is used. Because of its low polarity, it is a kind of weak acid. Low polarity, low electronegativity difference, it cannot produce protons very easily, very readily. That is why it's a kind of weak acid, and for this reason equilibrium symbol is used. Let's see another acid. Now the compound is hydrogen cyanide, which is gaseous at normal condition. Now let's see the existence of hydrogen cyanide in absence of water. This is the structure formula of hydrogen cyanide. Here nitrogen gets negatively charged because its electronegativity is 3.1, carbon 2.5, hydrogen 2.1, and this becomes negatively charged as well, and hydrogen becomes positively charged. Another hydrogen cyanide, it becomes positively charged. So attraction force is originated between hydrogen cyanide molecules, but no way to produce protons. So hydrogen cyanide cannot produce protons in absence of water. But when hydrogen cyanide is dissolved in water, then it produces protons. Now let's see how it produces protons. Nitrogen gets negatively charged, and as a result it is attacked by water. At one stage, this hydrogen carbon bond undergoes heterolytic fission and proton is released from hydrogen cyanide molecule, which is surrounded by water. But here electronegativity difference is very low, 2.5, hydrogen 2.1. That is why it cannot produce protons very easily, and as a result reversible reaction happens. That means the percentage of ionization is very low, and proton, which is surrounded by water, and cyanide ion, which is surrounded by water. So in this way hydrogen cyanide produces protons in water, but it can produce protons very less amount, because here electronegativity difference is very low, polarity is very low, water cannot attack very easily. That is why equilibrium sign is used, because of its low acidity. One thing should be mentioned here, that is, this is hydrogen cyanide which is in gaseous state, but when it is dissolved in water, then the solution is symbolized by this. Now its name is hydrocyanic acid. Its name is hydrocyanic acid. So this is hydrogen cyanide, and when it is dissolved in water, then its name will be hydrocyanic acid. And finally, hydrogen cyanide is a kind of Arrhenius acid because it can produce protons in water. Let's say another acid. Now the compound is acetic acid, which is liquid at normal condition. First of all, let's see whether this is acid or not in absence of water. This is the structure formula of acetic acid. Another acid is, so among the acetic acid molecules, this hydrogen bond is present. No way to form protons without water, but in presence of water, now let's see how it can produce protons. Acetic acid, this is electronegative atom, this is electronegative atom. That is why it gets negatively charged, it gets negatively charged, and this is attacked by water. At one stage, this hydrogen oxygen bond undergoes heterolytic fission and proton is formed, which is surrounded by water. At the same time, acetate ion is formed, CH3COO-. Acetate ion is formed, which is surrounded by water molecule. One thing should be mentioned here, that is, these hydrogen atoms are not acidic, because in this case the electronegativity difference is very low. Hydrogen's electronegativity is 2.1, carbon's electronegativity is 2.5. Because of its low electronegativity difference, no polarity is created here, and that is why water molecule cannot attack these hydrogen atoms, and finally no protons are formed from this methyl group. So only this hydrogen is acidic hydrogen, not this hydrogen, because this hydrogen and oxygen, these hydrogen got positively charged, and these hydrogen cannot get positive charge. That is why from this methyl group no protons are created, only this hydroxyl hydrogen is freed as proton. And here methyl group is a kind of electron donating group. That is why the bond of oxygen and hydrogen becomes a bit stronger because of the presence of methyl group. That is why this acetic acid cannot release proton very easily, and for this reason it is a kind of weak acid, and that is why equilibrium symbol is used. So in this way acetic acid can produce protons in water, and for the presence of methyl group it acts as a weak acid. Let's see the next point. Now the point is whether methane is an acid or not. First of all, methane is not an acid. Now let's see why it doesn't act as acid in water. Let's see the structure formula of methane. Its shape is tetrahedral. That is why we can say carbon is surrounded by all tetrahedral four corners. It is surrounded by hydrogen atoms symmetrically, and the electronegativity of carbon is 2.5, hydrogen is 2.1. That means electronegativity difference is very less, almost negligible. That is why hydrogen doesn't get positively charged and carbon doesn't get negatively charged. Since no polarity occurs here, water cannot attack these hydrogen atoms of methane, and as a result no proton is produced from methane in water. So simply we can say that in methane electronegativity difference between carbon and hydrogen is almost negligible. No polarity happens here, and as a result water molecule cannot attack these hydrogen atoms of methane, and for this reason no protons are formed in water from the methane, and that is why methane is not an acid. No more today. Thank you very much.